Behind the Frenzy, sponsored by the My Auto Group.
Hey everyone, welcome into the Behind the Frenzy podcast. I'm Dean Holsworth, along with my good friend Andy McDonald. District final week.
Yeah, we're there.
We're there. I really feel like you have blowouts in week or the first round, and then district finals. You have some really good matchups, and we have some good matchups this week.
No, for sure, it's definitely good. This is when the local playoffs really start to take off. It feels like, and you get some of these games that matter, and they've been matchups in the past, and it really adds to it. So yeah, it's if you're a high school football fan in the West Michigan area, this is a good weekend to be out there watching.
Yeah, and it's too bad for a lot of our local teams because you look at some of these games we're going to talk about, and these teams, the winner of this game has a chance to go to Ford Field.
Yeah,
right.
For
Just
sure,
because the teams are so talented.
Mm-hmm. Oh no doubt. This is where you kind of start to separate the real contenders, right? I mean, this is where it happens at. So yeah, everything you work for all season kind of comes down to these weekends, and it only gets more and more emphasized as we move on in the playoffs.
100%. Well, let's start Division I. Obviously, I think one of the bigger games, I think there's two that we're going to really kind of focus on, but the biggest one I think is Rockford at Hudsonville.
Yeah, no doubt.
First meeting.
It seems to always find a way.
Oh my gosh. First meeting, Hudsonville won 35-28. Obviously, Hudsonville's undefeated. I think they're on like a 17-game win streak right now. Not necessarily.
Despite the championship loss.
Championship loss. I think they won 17 of their last, whatever it is. But playing really good football. Obviously, they beat Jenison pretty handily last week. Rockford won handily as well against Granville. Kind of set up this matchup.
And they've already got to play Rockford. That's what's so crazy about these playoffs is like, it's especially in that division. Yep. It's like you're already having to play Rockford is so crazy when you think about it. You would think about like the talent on both of these teams being something you might meet in like a regional or something, but instead you got to play them this early, and it's crazy. One of them has to go home. So yeah, it's going to be one of those games that means everything to both these teams and fan bases. I'm sure it's going to be a packed stadium, and I'd expect nothing less than for it to be just either. It's going to be one of those games that's like kind of a letdown where one team finds a way to blow them out, it feels like, or it'll be one of those games that we're talking about at the end where it's some crazy win. And if I had to pick at the end of it being close and crazy, I'd have to pick Hudsonville just because of all the crazy wins they've been able to pull off so far this year.
100%. You have Brady Van Lake, who obviously just recently committed to Fair State to play football. So congrats to Brady. Obviously, he's had a great season. And Rockford, just playmakers on offense, and both teams have really good defenses.
Yeah, this is like just an impossible game to pick. I feel like either team could win. Right. It really, if you were to put them on the field 10 times, I feel like it would be even split almost. 100%. So it's hard to say who is going to for sure win. But yeah, no, it's if I had to pick, I'm probably going to go with Hudsonville just because I haven't seen them lose in a long time other than that state championship.
Yeah, I think Rockford obviously has that revenge factor going. Yep. Their only losses this year to Saline in that first game of the year and to Hudsonville. So. I'm going to say Rockford comes in and then shocks Hudsonville.
All right, I like it.
31-28. There's my prediction. There's my score.
He's got the score right on it. Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all, man. I mean, these teams are so even.
Yeah. Hey, Spring Lake at Unity Christian in Division IV. Spring Lake, I think this is only the fourth time in school history that they've made it to district finals.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, I was a little worried about Unity Christian last week.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and Howland Christian went right down the field and scored. Howland Christian put 42 points up on Unity Christian last week, which back and forth game, and they went in, I think, 53-42, whatever the case was. Super high scoring game, but Unity Christian's defense, I think, is a cause for concern right now, especially after giving up 20 or 30 some points against Pontiac Notre Dame that last regular season game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if you're Unity Christian, you're kind of hoping that maybe that was just like a little bit of a layover from them, kind of for sure knowing where they were going to be at in the playoffs, and then maybe sleeping a little bit into this game. I mean, you got to trust that coaching staff over there to wake these guys up and hopefully make it better. But I agree with you. I mean, that the facts are the facts, and if you give up that many points, that's definitely a concern for a team that's going to try to push for Ford Field, because the later you get, I mean, they know better than anybody else from what happened at Ford Field years ago.
Yeah.
If you go to sleep on defense, teams can come back, and they can come back fast. So, I don't think their offense, if anybody held them under 30, it would honestly be a surprise to me with how good they're able to play. But yeah, if they can just find a little bit more on that defensive end, they're going to have a a pretty clean path to making it far in these playoffs. But again, that has to happen. We have to see it. So.
Yeah, I think last year's district final is going to be on Union Christian's mind this week. They lost to South Christian last year in the district final. They were undefeated. So I think they still have that bad taste in their mouth. And, Spring Lake obviously very inexperienced when it comes to this point of the season. So I think Union Christian might have an edge there as far as experience.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's I can't see Union Christian losing. I'm gonna take them to get a bigger win this time. That's for sure. I think this is one that's more handily because they're going to hammer that home this week. Like they're not going to say like we don't need to make this close, but they're going to be like maybe we should on defense find a way to make this better, and I think they do.
Oh, 100%. I want to talk about this one real quick. Grandpa's Christian plays Portland, and it's funny because what we talked about with South Christian almost came true last week.
Yeah,
they almost went to Portland and upset.
Yeah.
Portland and lost by 1 point, and now Grandpa's Christian, who upset Battle Creek, Harper Creek.
Yeah, that we thought that was going to be a tough game for them.
That was a surprise.
Yeah,
for Christian to play as well as they did.
Battle Creek, Harper Creek's been pretty good all year. So yeah, definitely was a shocker to me.
Yeah, that was a very surprise. So I don't know if Grandpa's Christian is going to have enough for 2 weeks in a row to be able to play well against his Portland team, but.
I feel like that makes this game so hard to predict, though. It's just like we know what South Christian can do, and we know even with the record they had, they're one of those teams that can get a win against almost anybody they play. It feels like just because of the coaching staff they have and everything else over there. But when Portland plays against them that close, then Grand Rapids Christian goes out there and gets an upset we didn't expect happening.
Yeah,
I think this one can go either way. I'm gonna go with Grand Rapids Christian to keep it rolling.
Jack's gonna love that.
And this one for sure. Yeah, no doubt. But I seriously, I just think to get that win, that's the kind of thing where like whenever we do hear about one of these teams making a run, that's kind of what gets them started is a win like that. And, I do feel like that's going to be the case for Grand Rapids Christian.
Yep. Another one I'm really looking forward to is Byron Center at Portage Central.
Yeah.
So as you know, I have lots of Byron Center friends that a lot of them don't necessarily play on the team like they did last year. But Byron Center has probably been one of the hottest teams so far in playing as well as anybody after that 1-2 start to the season.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Portage Central, that's not like a familiar matchup for them, right? Unless I'm
They played Portage Northern last week.
Okay.
They did. So last year in, I think, regionals, Byron Center beat Portage Central.
Oh, okay.
In regionals last year.
So they do have some familiarity.
They do. They played last year.
That matters a lot because I think that's always the toughest thing when you play Portage Central is they throw so many different things at you with the way they run their offense and stuff. And obviously their defense is very, very good.
47 points the entire year.
Yeah, exactly.
And 19 was last week against Lansing Everett.
That's crazy. I mean, it takes a playoff team to even get close to getting 20 points. It's pretty nuts. So Byron Center's going to have their hands full. I've always liked you talked about all year with them because the couple of times I have got to watch them play this year. It's just they still have enough people back in that team that it feels like they want to get over the hump and get that win. I think this can be a close game. But I got to take Portage Central. I can't go against that defense. So for me, that's what it's going to be in the end. It's going to be too much for Byron Center to overcome.
Well, Portage Central has to stop the guy who you forgot his name, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. Campaign.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he has, he runs some stuff out of the Wildcat. He has just had an incredible season, and I heard he's kind of getting looks now from some pretty, major colleges right now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Kid's a stud.
He impressed the heck out of me. That was the one time I got to cover them, and it was like, let's just give him the ball every time and see how far he can go. So again, in high school, when you have one of those kind of players that can take over and just do that, it matters so much. And this kind of game, that's where everything could change. No matter how good Portage Central's defense is, if he's able to take over that game and do what I saw a few weeks ago, I mean, and again, it's gonna be a lot harder of a test to do that.
Yeah.
But if he does, I mean, sometimes there's just nothing you can do to stop it. That's how it works in football. One player can dominate the game. It's not as often, but you never know. I think that could be something that could happen for Byron Center. It's possible.
Definitely. We got to talk about Kennewick Hills.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coopersville.
I couldn't really believe the score. I think it was 14-0 at half.
Yeah.
Then 21-0. Then 28-0.
So the story for me with this is of how I found out about this final score is I come back from my run in Kalamazoo last weekend. I was all over the place out there. Yeah, it was a lot. And I come back and Alec Giannakopoulos, our sports anchor, he comes back at the same time as me and he goes, "Your alma mater." 42-0. I was like, I had to stop. I stopped in my tracks on the way in the building. I was like, there is no way that's true. They beat Coopersville earlier this year.
I could not believe that score.
Couldn't believe it either. It sounded like Fellows had a pretty tough game passing the ball. I think he had 4 or 5 interceptions, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all it takes sometimes is to have, like one thing go wrong and then it keeps going. Again, kind of was not a team that has a lot of playoff experience with a lot of those
talked about
guys.
that.
And,
Yep.
Something goes wrong. And it's sad to see because I really wanted to see if they could, do something this year with it at least get that. And just to have that home playoff game, finally, and to have it go that way. Again, a lot of these kids are coming back next year, and that is going to add fuel to the fire. I fully expect Kennewood to be a very competitive team next year, and I think we'll be talking about them more. But yeah, that's a brutal. This feels almost like Northview. This feels like Northview last year.
Yeah.
They went 9-0. I'm not saying Kennewood went 8-1, but went to the playoffs. And then obviously Northview's matchup was probably not one they were favored in necessarily. It was more even, but yeah, it's just a huge surprise, especially to lose that way. Just
I
crazy.
mean, one game does not define a season. We know that.
No, yeah,
right?
for sure.
And Kennewood Hills had a great, not school record necessarily, but like a great season
Yeah,
that
no.
hasn't been seen around those parts for a very long time.
Yeah.
But Coopersville obviously has some motivation, and they play some inspired football.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Credit them too.
Oh
They deserve
gosh.
it all. I mean, that's it. They talked about it. I mean, like I said, Don Fellows, when we talked to him a couple weeks ago, was very honest about they don't like each other, and Coopersville took that serious too because
sure did.
they came out there and had absolutely no mercy winning by that many points.
So where do you see Coopersville now this week? They play East Grand Rapids. East Grand Rapids, I watched them the regular season finale, kind of beat up on Forest Hill Central. They're clicking, I think, right now. I think that's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely should be. It's hard again to take a team down when they get a win like that. So I think it will be a good one.
Yep. Last one. I think we've been looking forward to this. We kind of predicted this. Catholic Central, West Catholic.
Gosh, yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I was impressed by with West Catholic. First time I've seen them last week. I know you've seen them a few times.
So yeah, you haven't covered
right?
them
I
this
hadn't
year.
covered West Catholic
Sure.
all year. So I roll into halftime. It's 13-7. I'm like, all right, Muskegon Oak Ridge is giving them a
That
pretty
sounds like every West game.
a pretty good game.
to be honest,
I was
so
like,
far
all right,
this
this
year.
should be a good second half.
Yeah.
3 straight possessions, West Catholic touchdown.
Yeah.
Passing touchdown, and then who's the running back? I apologize.
It's a good question. I honestly don't know.
He had 2 long runs, and all of a sudden they're up.
Yeah, I should know.
They're up big.
43, right?
Yeah,
43.
and then they end up
Yep.
winning 56-7.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, that's a game that West should have handled
Yeah.
based off what I've seen this year. But that's the faith I have in Landon Grove as a coach. He's just been so good since he's been there. I think that he gets these guys ready for these games, and I can imagine what was going on in that locker room at halftime. I wasn't very happy about it being that way, and I'm sure they woke up and they found a way to get it done. But yeah, no, they have some great quarterback plays. Only gotten better as the seasons went along, and I just think overall that team's going to be hard to stop if they can get past Catholic Central. That's the problem. It's Todd Colster's group is not a joke. They're tough to play every single year too, and it's just it's impossible to predict who's going to win this game.
So
I don't know.
So 4th time in the last 5 years that these teams have met in the postseason. Catholic Central has won the last 3.
Yep.
I think it might be West Catholic's time.
Last year it felt like it was,
And
too.
it was until
yeah.
the last minute of the game.
Yeah.
With the fumble and the touchdown late.
Yeah, no,
Right? It was
yeah,
West Catholic's
they had the blocked punt.
Blocked
and then
punt,
It was blocked
sorry,
punt,
yes,
and then
yes.
the craziest part about the whole thing was they got tackled and then had to go with, like, I think it was a second or 2 left on the clock. They had to try for a touchdown. And they get this crazy catch from a guy named Jameson Williams
yeah.
in the back of the end zone. So it was just an insane finish, something that you literally can't script in a
Right.
rivalry game like that, a small town high school rivalry. So yeah, if you're a high school football fan, you're looking for something to do on Friday night and you have nothing to do. If I had to circle any game to pick to go
100%.
to, that's the one. It's going to be packed. It's going to be a great environment. It should be really good.
It's always just the classic, right? It always
Yeah.
comes down to the end. I was at the regional final a few years back when it came down to the last
Because those teams hate each
couple
other.
minutes.
I mean, they do.
They don't like each other.
The rivalry got taken away for a little bit, obviously, with some stuff over there, and it wasn't a thing, and people missed it. And it comes back, and it's great to see it back because those two teams, like that, it's hard to imagine either team blowing the other one out just because of what you said. Like they
100%.
always find a way to keep it close. It doesn't matter. So it's going to be a good one. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with you. I think West Catholic's got to get it done. I mean, this is all
4 times the charm.
All the motivation in the world after the way they lost last year. They should have won that game at the end of the day. And I think this has to be the time they get it done.
Right.
So.
But we know Colster's teams, like you said.
No, I mean, like
they've made the state
I'm
semifinals.
going off of
something
nothing.
Crazy.
I'm going off of nothing else but momentum. Like Catholic Central could win this game by 28 points. And it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Just because that's what Todd's groups do. I mean, they're so well coached. They're so good every year.
Yep.
It's hard to imagine that they even lose this game. But it's just, I don't know. It's just something for me. And this one just tells you that West Catholic's going to find a way to get it done.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Next week we will break down the regional, or we'll kind of recap district finals and look ahead to the regional finals the following week. So thanks for joining us. Take care.